Alright, we are live with the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles once again. So, let us jump into the next case. The Return of the Great Departed Soul. Oh my. What might this be?
The grand end-of-the-century Great Exhibition of London. Surely there is not a soul who has failed to hear of it. Wondrous new works of culture and industry from every corner of the globe had converged on Hyde Park, welcoming over 50 million visitors. The last great hurrah of this century. Astonished and delighted people of all nations, and ended on a note of resounding success. But as regards to the terrible catastrophe that occurred during the festivities, very few are aware my friend Mr. Herlock Sholmes had a hand in unraveling the matter. For from the shadows, it was he who earnestly unearthed the facts of the case. And like the centerpiece of the great exhibition, which rose high into the skies of Hyde Park, Sholmes's brilliant deductions, as clear and lofty as the Crystal Tower itself, brought the truth to light.
That's right, I'm here.
We're here at the showground of the Great Exhibition, which is absolutely packed with people. The weather is unusually fine, and we're about to witness a most extraordinary scientific experiment. Ladies and gentlemen, the 20th century will see steam engines and electrical power dominate the world. Horse-drawn carts will give way to the motor car. Ships will sprout wings and take to the skies. And today, we showcase even more advanced technology. A glimpse into the future. A world first. A demonstration of my super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine.
Hey, I've seen this movie. Where's Hugh Jackman?
A man will literally be disassembled by a pulse of high voltage electricity and beamed to another location. Whereupon his body will be reassembled by a series of complex calculations exactly as it was before.
It's quite the beauty mark that guy has.
In but a few moments from now, this gentleman will, in the blink of an eye, complete an incredible journey through the air. To arrive an instant later on the Crystal Tower behind you! Yes! Whoa! Yes!
Oh gosh. I don't want to think about The Fly. That movie creeps me out. Both movies, the old one and the new one. Uh-oh, something's going wrong. Oh, 22nd October, 9:36 a.m. Sholmes' suite. So, are we back to, like, post Naruhodo losing his license? I assume so? We'll see. Runo! Are you listening? Oh, sorry, what was that, Iris? What's the matter with you? You've been miles away all morning. Didn't you like what I cooked for breakfast? No, that's not it at all. What were we talking about again? Today's paper is full of news about the Great Exhibition again. Put that man in an Instapot. Oh man. He's gonna get pressure cooked. Ah yes, the Great Exhibition. I'd like to go sometime. You're really not your usual self today. You seem very down. Don't you agree, Hurley? Oh no. Did you say something, Iris? Oh gosh, you're even more down. When did you arrive, Mr. Naruhodo? I've been here for about half an hour already. We had breakfast together. What? Why didn't you mention it before? I thought you might have known I was here, you know, because breakfast? Iris is quite right. You're clearly lacking in vim, so much so that I didn't notice your presence. Thanks. Of course, I could deduce the reason perfectly well with some simple observations. What? Let's see. Yes. For example, your tousled hair this morning with those unruly spikes. Clearly it can be deduced, therefore, that... let me stop you there, Mr. Sholmes, because I think I can see where this is going. My hair always looks like this. It always has, ever since we first met, in fact. Oh, really? How interesting. It just doesn't look like a haircut as such, I suppose. Thanks again. It crossed my mind recently that it's been 6 months now. 6 months? Since I was forbidden from working in court. So I've been wondering how much longer I'm gonna be banned. Oh, well, that would explain why you seem rather glum. Don't you agree, Hurley? He's back at it. Did you say something, Iris? Back to moping. What's gotten into you, Sholmes? What's the matter with Mr. Sholmes today? He seems even more down in the dumps than me. I know. The great exhibition is opened. You'd think he'd be more excited. Oh, why don't we all go to see it together? I want to. Of course I do. But I can't. Not for the time being. Why not? Why not? Why not? Because I'm a great detective after all. So you're embroiled in some tricky case that you can't be distracted from? Is that it? I don't remember hearing that you're working on a case, Hurley. I suppose I should try to find out what's going on. Let us talk to Mr. Sholmes. Let's talk about the events from 6 months ago. We'll talk about it in order. Half a year ago now, I took on the defense of a young girl in a trial heard at the Old Bailey. What at first seemed like a simple case of murder that took place at a London pawnbrokery turned out to be one part of a much more far-reaching plot that involved the British government. During the course of the trial, it was found that I made an unavoidable, yet at the same time unforgivable mistake. Words fail me. This situation is utterly deplorable. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, my lord. I will decide upon your fate following the conclusion of this trial. Of course, my lord. In the end, I had my right to represent people in court revoked. I was told I had to spend my time in research and study. So that's what I've been doing. You have, haven't you, Runo? Reading all those big fat tomes about British law up in your room, and the notes about Sholmes' old cases. Brewing Iris' special blends of tea, fetching my daily bread for me. You've become something of a manservant around here. Start in the silverware next, Master Naruhodo. I'm thinking of going to ask the powers that be to reconsider. Specifically Lord Strongheart, at the British Supreme Court on Whitehall. Yes, Lord Strongheart has not appeared in this game yet so far, and we're 3 cases in now. Lord Strongheart? Ah, the delightful Lord Chief Justice. Not my favorite fellow. He's not mine either, but he's the man I have to talk to. He's the only one who can grant permission for me to start working in the courts again. came to Britain to become the best lawyer I could. And I can't do that just sitting around here. Great exhibition. The whole of London has been swept up in this great exhibition, hasn't it? The most advanced science, the most modern technology, the finest works of art and feats of engineering. For the next 6 months, our capital will be showcasing these things, and the world will be watching! Oh, do you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to look down on London from one of those lovely balloons. Look down on... Do you mean those things fly? Yes, of course. They fly high in the sky and don't even need wings to do it. All we need is hot air. But how? What does hot air have anything to do with flying? It makes no sense. We get to meet the strongest of hearts. Yay, yes. Lord Strongheart. I can't understand it at all. It's true of a lot of new scientific discoveries. Most people can't understand them at first. But in 100 years' time, all those things will just be common knowledge. I suppose they might be. Mind you, some of the science being demonstrated seemed very questionable. Something went wrong on the open experimentation stage yesterday, apparently. There was a huge explosion. Still, I wish I'd seen it, though. I'd love to see how bad some of those scam experiments really are. Says the innocent 10-year-old girl. So yeah, every page of this paper carries some article or other about the Great Exhibition. But the brighter things shine, the darker the shadows that are cast behind them. Personally, I find myself drawn to the darkness, the impenetrable. That is my proper atmosphere. The Great Exhibition newspaper has been added to the court record. Shadows cast behind. Is that a metaphorical way of referring to the back page of the newspaper? I don't know, Mr. Sholmes, is it? The Reaper attack? What the heck? So many glowing reports about the Great Exhibition and everything that's going on there. Other than this rather gloomy looking one, that is. Wait, what? What's the matter, Runo? The Reaper attacked. That's Lord Van Zykes. This must be what Mr. Sholmes was talking about. Does he know any more, I wonder? Huh. Public health report. Lost cat. Can I read about the lost cat? We need to rescue that cat. Every article on this front page is news about the Great Exhibition. Public experiments to demonstrate brand new scientific ideas, cultural exhibits from around the globe. It's also positive and hopeful about the coming century. We must all go to see it properly before too long. Yeah, let's talk about that in a minute. Are you investigating a particularly tricky case at the moment, Mr. Sholmes? You could say that, I suppose. Nothing more to add? It's not like you. What sort of case is it? Shh! Quiet, Mr. Naruhodo! We must not discuss it here. You never know who might be listening. You're acting very strangely, Hurley. What do you mean, Iris? Usually, the more mysterious and complicated a case is, the better Hurley's mood. Ah. Is it really a case that's bothering you? Iris, please! You mustn't exercise your astute powers of observation and deduction on me without invitation. Remember what I always say. Put yourself in the shoes of the individual about whom you're making deductions. Spin the chessboard around, Iris, and you'll see the truth. You say that, do you? Mr. Sholmes? Oh, never mind. Once I've had a cup of tea, I must make my way at once to the crime scene. That was a deep sigh. It says in the paper that Lord Van Zykes was attacked. That's terrible. You know the legend of the Reaper of the Bailey, of course, don't you? Only too well, in fact. Yes, Prosecutor Barrack Van Zykes. They say that if the Reaper is the prosecutor in a case, there's no salvation for whoever's in the dock. Even if the defendant is found not guilty. Once the Reaper has someone in his sights, one way or another, person's time left on this earth will be short. London's finest rogues always find ways around the law. Stop at nothing to secure an acquittal or trial. Falsifying evidence, paying sham witnesses, threatening jurors, bribing judges. But even such devious tactics as these cannot save them from the hand of the Reaper. As you've experienced yourself, haven't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, I've seen the Reaper's retribution at work. Many of these criminal rogues are quite reckless and quite unafraid to die. If a leader among their fraternity is seen to be taken by the Reaper, retaliation like this does occur. Really, the capital has a never-ending supply of such scoundrels. So, do you mean Lord Van Zykes has been attacked like this before? This isn't the first time? He's quite an accomplished combatant, you know. He doesn't take these attacks lying down. Although, it seems that his assailants were armed with guns this time. Oh my goodness, is he alright then? Is Lord Van Zykes hurt? My dear fellow, how on earth would I know? Well, in the article here it says, as to what of Lord Van Zykes and his condition, all will be revealed in tomorrow's morning edition. Ah, I see. Well, you shall have to be patient. No, I can't wait until tomorrow. In that case, you shall have to inquire with somebody in the know. But who? Lord Strongheart, perhaps? I was thinking Gregson, but, you know. Oh, you got your coat on. Well, I must be leaving now. Yes, understood. See you later, Mr. Sholmes. Ha! You really are a shameless liar sometimes, my dear fellow. What? You seek to put me off my guard and follow me, don't you? Well, you'll be wasting your time. The thought hadn't crossed my mind. But no, I'm wondering where you're going. Well then, see you later, indeed. Did he just totally, like, tell him but not tell him to follow him? Listen to him, he's still laughing on his way out the door. What the heck? Alright then, Runo, let's get going. Oh, Iris. What are you wearing? I've got change to go to the Great Exhibition. You're gonna take me. What? But I'm just about to go to the Supreme Court. Oh, well that sounds fun too. You're gonna take me there then. Alright, fine. Just lower that weapon, would you? Of course. And after the Supreme Court, then we'll go to see the Great Exhibition. Alright. Well, should we start the way we always start, by looking at all the stuff in the room and see if there's any new comments? Every time I look at that machine, I can't help thinking what a monstrosity it is. What's it called again? The Great Analytoscope. I can analyze absolutely anything, you know? It does seem incredible, and at the same time, incredibly useless. Ah, but it looks impressive, doesn't it? So that makes it very useful. How does that make it useful? Because it means you can pawn it for lots of money. The pawnbrokers always make idle remarks like, what an incredible looking machine. Ah, so Hurley often takes it to the pawn shop when he's a little short. He is, yep. Sounds like this thing pulls its weight around here more than I realized by having its weight pulled around. Books, papers, scientific implements. These shelves are stuffed to the gunwales. Miss Sasato wouldn't be able to help herself if she were here. She can't stand mess. Susie might not be able to stand mess, but she wouldn't dare touch those shelves. Oh, why not? Everything's in intricate balance. Hurley spends ages on it. If you were to touch even one thing, the whole lot would come tumbling down. Huh. Susie noticed it was a very delicate arrangement, right from the outset. You make it sound like a meeting of great minds. But the truth is, Mr. Sholmes just needs to tidy up. Let's talk to his Stradivarius. Ah, yes. Mr. Sholmes' faithful musical companion. Wasn't this violin made by somebody famous? Yes, it's a Stradivarius. I'm afraid you'd have to save up for 100 years before you could afford one, Runo. If I were to save up for 100 years, I wouldn't choose to buy a violin, personally. Oh? What would you buy then? I really have no idea. I think I'll have to do it so I can find out. Alright, we got all the stuff here. So let's pop over here. I do love a good fire in the colder months. Watching the flames flicker and dancing about is just so very relaxing. Cleaning out the chimney isn't so relaxing, though. No, getting covered in soot isn't my idea of fun. You know, Hurley decided he was going to clean it out himself last year. But you can guess what happened, can't you? He got himself stuck inside the flue. He's a very slim man, but there are limits to where a fully grown man can fit. Every time he dozes off by the fire, he has nightmares about it. Ah yes, the huge metal chest with the lace cloth laid on it, being used as a table for tea and coffee. It's very sturdy, that's for sure, and firmly locked shut. The chest contains my father's detailed records of Hurley's many cases. Yes, so I've been led to believe, though personally I've never actually seen inside. And that's the way it will stay. Those papers are a secret between Daddy and me. If you go opening it uninvited, you might find yourself being bitten. What, is there a beast inside there or something? I think she said that last time. Ah, all these different pieces of evidence from cases that Mr. Sholmes has solved are very interesting. The trouble is, Hurley forgets things so quickly, he never remembers why these things are relevant. The other day, for example, he saw the orange pips that were there and decided to plant them in the garden. Pips? Yes, they've all sprouted now. We have 5 new little plants. Oh, well, I don't know what case they were from, but if Mr. Sholmes can get oranges to grow outside in England, he should change his profession. Ah, yes, this is where you note down ideas, isn't it, Iris? What's in the melting pot today? The blue carbuncle? Yes, it's from a case of theft that Hurley solved ages ago. The theft of a precious stone. A carbuncle is another name for a garnet, you see, especially if it's cut with a rounded top. Oh, really? And this garnet was blue, was it? Well, that's the thing. They're usually red. No blue garnets have ever been discovered. Oh. So who knows what the stolen gemstone actually was? That's the real mystery of the case. A proper Sherlock Sholmes conundrum, huh? I look forward to finding out what aroma your tea will have, Iris. Every single day. Ah, well, I infuse a different concoction of herbs from the garden every time, so it's never the same twice. When you call it a concoction, it sounds more like a science experiment than something for tea time. Oh yes, that's because different blends can have very different properties. Some calm you down, some make you feel jolly, some give you energy. Today's particular blend is something quite special, so you're really in for a treat. That sounds ominous. I can type with my eyes shut, you know? I can believe it. When the deadline's approaching, you sound like a Gatling gun. Okay, we have read all this already. Dream was such a funny one. It woke me, actually. What was it? Oh, yeah. She was typing in the pitch black. And then, when it got light, I found that there wasn't any paper in the machine. Now I wonder if I'd actually been typing at all. Yeah. And then that's this thing here. So many different bottles up there. Oh, do be careful, Bruno. You mustn't try the contents of any of those bottles, even if you're hungry. Oh, that's right, because she's going to say Hurley tried something. Yes, very funny. Very funny indeed. Yes, I polished off a full bottle of one of those. It was quite tasty. Sherlock Sholmes has an ironclad stomach, you know. Alright. Well, we can go to the legal consultancy. Is there anything of use up here? 22nd October, Naruhodo's legal consultancy. Let's see, do we have anything to say to... she'll just talk about what to do. Hey, you want to look at my armband? Iris, have a quick look at this. Your lawyer's armband? How many times have you shown me that, Bruno? Oh, sorry. It's very important to me, that's all. I don't feel complete somehow if I'm not wearing it. But personally, I think you should try wrapping some different things around your arm from time to time. Oh, really? Like what? Perhaps a pretzel. Pretzel? I've never heard that word before. Well, I think it's kind of a German defense lawyer symbol. Interesting. I'll have to try wearing one sometime. A German defense lawyer, you say? Alright. Let's go to the Lord Chief Justice's office. October, British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. It's been about 6 months now since I was last here, but some things never change, like the sense of foreboding I always seem to feel in this place. What are you doing? It doesn't seem to be bothering Iris at all, though. She's happily reading over there. Oh, Strongheart's gonna love that. Oh, I love this place. I always find so many interesting books here. Of course, I was forgetting that you've been here before. That time we came here 6 months ago. When Susato-san was given the news that she was to return to Japan.
Ah, I understand you wish to speak with me.
Oh, Lord Strongheart, I trust you've been keeping well?
Let's see. Since you arrived and requested an audience, it's been 4 hours, 32 minutes, and 26 seconds. We've kept you waiting a while. My apologies.
Oh no, not at all. I like nothing more than standing around staring into space.
Good to know.
Good to know that doesn't appear to bother him at all. Mail Strongheart, Lord Chief Justice of London. He's the man who allowed me to start practicing as a defense lawyer when I arrived in Britain as a student. You could only savor the air for a moment in this grand office to understand his preeminent status.
As you will be aware, the Great Exhibition of London is now underway at last. We're extremely busy as a result, policing the grounds, guarding the new technologies, dealing with petty crime. And furthermore, as of next month, we shall open the International Forensic Science Symposium.
Oh, I've not heard about that.
Investigating authorities from 40 countries around the globe will be taking part, including from your own land. Forensic science is the future. The world must embrace it. As we are the hosting nation, I have much to do, and it is my highest priority. If others must wait for my attention as a result, so be it.
Well, it's nice to know where I stand.
So, you wish to consult with me? Of course, I can very well imagine what this is about.
Thank you for agreeing to this meeting, my lord. I want to be allowed to start working as a defense lawyer again in court. That's what brought me here today. But actually, there's something else playing on my mind as it happens. Bruno, just take a deep breath and come out with it. Oh. Here, look at my badge. My armband. By the way, Lord Strongheart, about this.
The symbol of a defense lawyer in the Japanese judiciary.
Oh, I didn't expect you to know that.
We never accept foreign students before first researching the legal systems of their home countries. But such trinkets are merely for show. Don't you measure your worth as your performance in court?
Yes, right. Alright. Let's just get right to it. Permission to work. I actually came here today to ask for your permission.
Go on.
6 months ago, my rights to work in court as a lawyer was revoked, and I was told to spend my time studying. Obviously, I'm very sorry for what happened, but the thing is, it made me understand what it really means to defend somebody under the rules of a foreign justice system. And I desperately want to have another go. Please, permit me to enter the courtroom again.
Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes?
Here it comes. I'm sure you haven't forgotten your position here, have you? At best, you are a substitute for your compatriot. This was never your intended role.
Well, that's true. The Japanese government actually sent my best friend on this study tour, not me. Should have been Kazuma. He was so determined to bring change to our own justice system at home. That was his calling. And this is his theme song. If that tragic accident hadn't happened, I wouldn't be here in this office now. Mr. Asogi was my best friend, you see? That's why I can't leave it unfinished. I have to fulfill his calling for him.
His calling, you say? Has it never occurred to you that perhaps you know nothing of his true calling?
Sorry?
The mission with which that young law student was charged, what do you suppose it really was?
Was he learning to be a prosecutor? What do you mean? Mission? He's not making any sense.
Never mind. I have read all the reports you've submitted over the past 6 months. It's clear to me that you regret your actions and have been studiously obeying your revised instructions.
Do you mean...
As of this moment, I reinstate your license to practice law here in Great Britain.
Thank you! Thank you so much! That's wonderful news, Rono!
In fact, I believe I have the perfect case to mark your comeback. A curious affair. You consider it, I hope?
Of course. Please, tell me more. You described it as a curious affair?
Yes, that's right. I believe it was reported in the press. You were aware that there was a serious accident at the Great Exhibition yesterday.
Oh, no. Yes, I read about it. A professor from Germany tried to carry out a crazy experiment. Let me see, how was it described? Super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, I think. Instantaneous kinesis, as in moving things with the click of the fingers? That's right. It's just what my opal blends need, a dash of devil-may-care. Whatever the serious accident was exactly, it's clearly captured Iris's imagination.
It's an unfortunate business. A large explosion engulfed the public experimentation stage and a man lost his life. A certain Mr. Odi Asman.
Mr. Odi Asman? I don't get the pun.
An investor and a well-known figure in society.
A large explosion? A man died?
The man responsible for the experiment was Professor Albert Hairbrain. He was detained immediately after the incident and is due to appear in court tomorrow on the charge of murder.
What? Murder?
From time to take on his defense. We should hurry to meet with him at the prison. There is very little time left for you to carry out any kind of investigation.
Great exhibition. A scientific experiment gone wrong. And murder? I feel out of my depth before I've even started. Still. We should go to the prison straight away then. And try to meet with this German professor. Don't you think? Definitely.
Yes. One more thing about the case. There's a connection with our mutual acquaintance, the Reaper.
Oh, Lord Van Zykes? How? Here. That reminds me, have you seen this?
The reports of the overwhelming success of the Great Exhibition? Of course.
No, not that. The story on the back page.
What story? The Reaper attacked. Ah, that. You've enjoyed some victories in court against my #1 prosecutor, have you not?
Poor Mr. Reaper. What happened to him? He wasn't killed, was he?
There's no need for concern. Lord Van Zykes would not be so easily dispatched, I assure you.
Can you tell us what happened? I'd really love to know.
Very well. If it interests you.
It does, strangely.
Sorts of conferences.
We're talking about the exhibition now.
All sorts of conferences have been taking place around the world to coincide with the Great Exhibition. The next month, the largest and most important of them will take place at last. The International Forensic Science Symposium.
It does seem as though criminal investigation needs to embrace scientific methods, doesn't it?
Exactly! London, the global epicenter of culture, science, and wealth, now has a population exceeding 6 million. Sadly, crime in the capital is growing at a similarly startling rate. So it's imperative that we use the latest scientific methods to investigate and resolve cases as efficiently as possible, which is what's known as forensic science.
Sorry. What's known as forensic science, isn't it?
Exactly. The future of policing. Regrettably, however, Britain is currently dragging its feet when it comes to the adoption of forensic methods.
Oh dear, that's alarming.
Exactly! It's extremely alarming. If I were Her Majesty's Attorney General, you can be sure the numbers of crimes committed and resolved in London would be very different to the current figures. And I can cite 12 solid arguments and 223 individual reasons to support my claim.
Sorry?
By way of apology for keeping you waiting earlier, I shall detail everyone now.
What? Oh, how fascinating.
It all began 15 years ago. I was...
Oh my gosh.
It all began 15 years ago. You see, I was a young Strongheart, living in a lonely Strongheart world. And then you blacked out, and I could say anything I wanted, and you would believe it. And that more or less sums up my feelings on the matter, in the simplest of terms, of course. Essentially, to formally establish a forensic investigation division within Scotland Yard. That is my mission.
Right, yes. That's wonderful.
Exactly. Wonderful is precisely what it will be.
Iris isn't paying attention at all. She's got her nose in another book now. Oh, is it over? Did you learn anything useful? I actually drifted off for the most part. He's surprisingly ardent about forensic science.
Fortunately, Lord Van Zykes emerged from the attack unscathed. Street ruffians are no match for that man. He's a very capable fighter.
But that's incredible. They were armed with guns. Why was he attacked, though? Do we know?
It's related to events that occurred a month ago. A leader of one of the capital's criminal organizations was indicted and prosecuted by Van Zykes. But the man was acquitted. And no doubt large sums of money were involved behind the scenes.
Large sums of money?
A deplorable situation. Members of the jury were bribed, it seems. However, despite winning his freedom, the man in question met a dramatic end yesterday.
But you're not suggesting that was the work of the Reaper, surely?
The victim's henchmen certainly seem to think so. He was a man by the name of Osman, Mr. O.D. Osman.
Did you say husband? That's the man who died in the big explosion at the Great Exhibition. Oh, hang on. Odious man. Odious man. Odious man. I get it. Odious man. Yeah, okay. I get it. Very funny, Great Ace Attorney. Very, very funny.
Yes, known publicly as an investor, but in reality the head of a significant criminal organization.
Unbelievable. I wonder, could I ask you something? Lord Strongheart?
Try me.
Why do you use Lord Van Zykes as a prosecutor? Well, the criminals who manage to get off in court then meet with mysterious ends outside the courtroom. I'm fearful of that fate, they seek to strike at Lord Van Zykes first. I know there's no evidence that he actually is the Reaper in that sense, but still, something's clearly going on here.
I have Van Zykes work for the prosecution service for 2 reasons. Firstly, the man is the best prosecutor in the capital, bar none. And secondly, any deaths of criminals that have occurred outside the courtroom following his trials are nothing to do with him.
But that doesn't make sense. How can you explain the way so many have died, if not by someone's hand?
Van Zykes may have earned himself the moniker the Reaper, but he's no killer. So he will continue to prosecute on behalf of the Crown. Unless he wishes otherwise, of course. Well, I must be leaving for my next engagement. I'm already 11 hours and 16 minutes late. My colleagues may be starting to fidget.
11 hours late? That's quite something.
The meeting had already started when I arrived back here for this engagement with you. So lateness was inevitable. Time stops for no man.
I'm sure it stopped for me during those 12 solid arguments and 223 reasons. Oh yes, where would I find Lord Van Zykes and how?
I will assume he's at his office.
Right, I'll go and ask him about the attack in person. I want to get this straight from the horse's mouth.
Away with you now. I'm leaving Professor Hairbrain's defense entirely in your hands.
Of course, yes. Thank you very much, my lord. Alright. Can we, check around his office? See if there's anything cool we can look at? The Lord Chief Justice's desk. When you look at that, there's no mistaking Lord Strongheart's authority, is there? But the light from that window behind is far too bright. It'd be very bad for the eyes. I hadn't thought of that. There are no curtains, that's for sure. What's more important, having a desk with an air of authority, or having eyes that work? I can't say I'd ever considered it. After all, my little office barely has any light to speak of, and I haven't really seen my desk in a while. You couldn't read all those books even if you were reincarnated 3 times over as a bookworm. Oh, I know, so much reading material. I'm very envious. I've really been running out of things to read recently. That's because you read so fast. Perhaps little by little I could swap some of the books here with some of mine from home. I don't see why not. No one would notice, or at least I wouldn't, even if I was reincarnated 3 times over as a librarian. Oh, I've just had a great idea. What is it? We could hide inside these suits of armor and spy on the Fobwatch Master to find out what he's really like. I don't have much interest in what Lord Strongheart is really like, though. Oh, please, it would be fun. We could be inside the left one, and I'll go in the right. You really want to have a go in a suit of armor, don't you? Humph, now you're making fun of me because I'm a child, aren't you? I wasn't making fun of you at all. I'd like to have a go, too. Yeah, I want to go hide in a suit of armor, right?
Naruhodo, why are you hiding in my armor? I'm not a fan of that.
Alright, looks like everything's cool here. So, oh wait, the big clock. The cogs of the giant clock are keeping time as usual with their steady, rhythmical motion. It's really quite disturbing how little sound they can make considering their massive size. Someone very brilliant must have designed it. Whoever maintains it must be very talented too. But I'm not entirely convinced it's even a clock. What? What about the huge clock face that forms the window over there? Some people just make machines that move for the fun of it, because they enjoy watching them. really like how Hurley makes his rambling deductions just for the fun of it. Even if the outcome isn't quite right. Never mind all the trouble it gets others into along the way. Alright. We're gonna go to Lord Van Zyke's office for the very first time. Let's go do that. I'm kind of excited. I'm hype. Wow. 22nd October. Prosecutor's office. Oh, so this is the legendary Reaper's office. Look at all those chalices and all the wine glasses. Oh. Yes, it appears so. It sends a chill down your spine, doesn't it? What an amazingly deathly atmosphere. Oh, is that... Wait, who is this? That hooded figure was so still I hadn't noticed his or her presence. I wonder who it is. What are you doing here? Ah! Oh. He's as unwelcoming as I thought he'd be. Actually, maybe even more so. Oh, I'm glad to see you're well. So, who's the person over by the wall being punished for something or other? No punishment is taking place here. Oh. That's my apprentice. And he's sitting there of his own free will. I didn't know you had an apprentice. It must be the same person who was pictured in the newspaper. He's very able in combat. A requisite skill for anyone under my tutelage. Are you referring to the attack on the Reaper that was reported in the papers? The Reaper? I'd be interested to know the Reaper's true identity myself. Assuming that is such a fabled fiend that genuinely inhabits our great courtrooms. Hey, Lord Van Zyke, look at my armband. I know you've seen this around my arm before, but what is it exactly? It's the mark of a defense lawyer, in Japan at least. And what's your reason for showing it to a British prosecutor? Oh, well, I don't know, really. I can understand, at least. There's merit in reminding yourself who will to become what you are today. Oh. But that's a personal matter. Something you may want to keep close at all times. Not something to flaunt. No, I suppose not. Thank you for understanding, though. He's touching his medal. He's touching that. Is that something that's important to him? I wonder? Wish I could ask him. Hey, look at the newspaper. Look, Van Zyke's about the article in this paper. Ah, yes. It seems there was a reporter nearby, and that little skirmish took place. I had no idea I'd been photographed. It was careless of me. It looks as though it was taken after the people who attacked you had run away, though. Rest assured, the police have already apprehended every last one of them. But there's someone else fighting alongside you, it seems. And I think it's the same man who's sitting over there as we speak, isn't it? As I mentioned already, he's my apprentice. Perhaps you could tell us a little bit more about him? Now let's talk to you, old Barack. Lord Strongheart said that the assault last night was some sort of revenge attack? True, carried out by henchmen of Odi Asman's criminal organization. The investigation meant that arrests were imminent. Presumably, some hoped to kill me before that happened. Odi Asman? He's always masqueraded as one of London's most powerful financiers, a global investor. But his enormous wealth came to him by underhand means, via his criminal activities. And he used that money to buy himself a verdict of not guilty when he found himself in court, didn't he? Being prosecuted by you, Mr. Reaper. But the man got his comeuppance in the end. Yesterday, in fact. extraordinary circumstances. It was the most unusual case because of death. I know about that. It was super high voltage instantaneous kinesis gone wrong. Mr. Asman died when the demonstration of the public experimentation stage ended in an enormous explosion. Correct. And you think I have some kind of divine ability to cause an accident like that to happen, do you? Well, no. It does seem a little far-fetched. If this man really is the fabled Reaper, then he has to be innocent of this particular death at least. It's strange how this has worked out, isn't it, Runo? I mean, what with you taking on the professor's defense for the trial tomorrow? What? You're going to be defending him? Oh yes, that's right. Though I barely know the man's name yet, to be honest. Albert. Albert Herbein. That's right. Do you know him by any chance? Of course. He's a contemporary of mine. We were at university together. What? This guy's theme song just like thunders at everything he says. Can you imagine him like getting ready for bed and like putting his nightgown on and like, I am going to bed now. Or like he's getting up in the morning, getting his toothbrush out. I think it is time to brush my teeth. You know? Alright, your contemporary. Let's talk about that. I'd understood that Professor Hairbrain was from Germany, though. Yes, don't you understand that the person doing the voice here has given me a German accent, despite the fact that I'm clearly English? Hairbrain's from a respectable British family. After graduating from the University of London, he moved to Germany to carry out research. That's all. So, you were students together? I was in the Faculty of Law, of course. And he in science. So our paths rarely crossed. But curiously, we got along. I've not met him since my university days. I certainly didn't expect our next encounter to take this form. And with you, of all people, representing him. Only if I make it out of this office alive. He's actually been charged with murder, it seems. Yes, I know, because the prosecution will be handled by me. But you? But you made it sound as if you and the professor had been friends. We are friends, it's true. Why would you do this? If the Reaper is the prosecutor, there's nothing anyone can do to save him. He's doomed. What's Lord Van Zyke's thinking? What is Lord Van Zyke's thinking? Tune in next time to find out. Next time being right now. Yeah, wake up music having eggs. Do. Yeah, I know. What do you mean by what you said before? If you'd like to know the Reaper's true identity, does that mean I'm a crown prosecutor, and immortal like any other? I'm no demigod. But they've all died, haven't they? The people you've prosecuted, I mean. Whether or not the trial ended in a conviction or an acquittal. Those I prosecute are the vilest wretches of our society. People who without question deserve to be found guilty. The world is a better place without them. But that's not true of Mr. Natsume, for example. He wasn't a vile wretch at all. Nor was Ginny. In fact, she's ever so hard-working now. Internal anti-Japan thoughts. I can't deny that since I encountered you, things have taken a turn. But the point is this. If any of those vile wretches that escaped justice subsequently died in mysterious circumstances, it was at the hand of their own kind. It's not my work. Lord Stormheart said the same. He believes you're not involved in any way. Well, okay. they're not talking about this for spoiler reasons, because this series is a strict no spoiler policy. But like, you know, we found out at the end of last quote-unquote game that Magnus McGilded died because of the one dude, the guy at the end of the last case. He paid to have him assassinated, basically. So that is kind of, yeah, the one personal experience we've had with the quote-unquote Reaper has been not something that Strongheart's, or that is Van Zyg's fault. Now, the next question, though, is if he isn't the Reaper, somebody probably is. I'm very curious to find out who that might be. But you were attacked by those ruffians because they believe it's true. The fact is, since people started to call me the Reaper of the Bailey, the number of serious crimes in the capital has dropped substantially. His apprentices, the guy that's killing everybody that you know gets away from them and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. This apprentice guy's new. Wonder what his deal is. Oh, it would appear that even the most hardened criminals can be made fearful for their lives. Do you mean to say? I mean to say that if my pseudonym serves a useful purpose, I adopt it gladly and with honor. But it's putting you in danger. You could be killed. If that is my fate, let God decide. What Van Zyg's? He's in my tutelage to become a prosecutor. So you could say he's my apprentice, I suppose. Ah, like you already heard it then, Bruno. I don't remember taking an apprenticeship with a great detective. No, I kind of feel like our apprenticeship is reversed, and we're constantly fixing Hurley's very strange leaps of logic. He's currently compiling a report about last night's attack. There's a lot of wine caskets, by the way. Looks like he's wearing some kind of mask. On Lord Strongheart's orders. Nobody knows the man's face, or indeed his identity. Why would you agree to take on such a clearly suspicious individual? Lord Strongheart's orders again. He's not one for meaningless follies. There will be a good reason for his actions. I hope you're right. Who is this? The apprentice. Ah! The task is complete? Good. In that case, you can collate all the briefs. Yes, arrange my briefs by color, please. I would like to wear the red ones tomorrow. Nice to meet you. And he's gone. Saying nothing. Back to work again. That was really strange, though. I've never met the man before. I didn't even know he existed, and yet, somehow it didn't feel like our first encounter. Don't bother trying to converse with him. He says nothing to anybody from outside this office. But Strongheart has strictly forbidden it. Oh, I see. Why are you so interested in my apprentice anyway? Oh, no, I mean... Sorry, I didn't mean to... He stood there so casually, yet with that flawless posture. It couldn't be. Oh my, who could it be? Who could it be? I wonder. I will be so shocked if we find out it was Kazuma. Yes, there's something I've been meaning to ask you. Oh, what's that? That Nipponese man, is he faring well? Sorry? The one arrested twice in succession 6 months ago, with the stoop, and the mustache, and the jitters. Ah, Mr. Natsume, you mean? Yes, he's talking about me! Oh! I'm all the way over in Japan, but I'm so mad that he's bringing me up. Oh, sulkily solace! I'm not sure he'd be very pleased to find out you identified him in that list, Runo. He's fine, thank you. In fact, I received a letter from him by international post only the other day. I see. No, I think we can end the discussion there, don't you? There's little time left before tomorrow's trial. I advise you to spend it investigating the case. Yes. Thank you for the advice, and for the conversation. I can't believe he's asking after Nipponese. I'm not sure whether to feel happy about that or worried. I never imagined that Mr. Reaper would be friends with a mad scientist, did you? If they got that guy was referring, that guy was your best friend from Japan. Oh yeah. I'm wondering. That's a tone up for the books. A mad scientist? You mean Professor Hairbrain? Yes, it might be worth quizzing the professor about his relationship with Lord Van Zykes, I think. Ah! Your music, it's so scary. Oh yeah, I'm totally, like, thinking it's Kazuma. Well, let's look at the Reaper's office, shall we? While we're here. What is this big painting? I want to know that. That portrait really dominates the room, doesn't it? Really ties the room together. Whoa, it's a very majestic outfit and pose, but sadly, whoever painted it didn't do a very good job of capturing Lord Van Zykes' facial features. He's wearing the same emblem. Yes, you're right. I mean, it's not that far off, but the artist exaggerated his subject's handsomeness, I think. Ah, that reminds me. I heard Emperor Napoleon of France ordered artists to make him look more attractive when they painted him. How vain. That's really not an attractive quality in a person, is it? That portrait does not depict me. Surely. It's immediately obvious. Oh, then who is it? Look, it's a scale model of the Great Exhibition Showground. That's amazing. I wonder why it's here. Perhaps he made it to take his mind off the sadness of being too busy to attend in person. Or perhaps he's too embarrassed to queue up for a ticket. Surely it's obvious that I'm using it as an investigative aid. You Nipponese have no business painting others as openly reserved. I really didn't think he'd overhear that. Is the reason that... So, assuming this is Kazuma, right? Is the reason that he's disguised because Van Zykes does not like Japanese people? And Strongheart thinks that he wouldn't take him as an apprentice if he knew he was Japanese? Lord Van Zykes' desk. Look, it's so stylish. And that's a marble chess set beside it. That's the Western version of our Japanese shogi game, isn't it? You know, I'm actually quite good at shogi problems. Oh, really? You probably like chess problems in that case. I have attempted to play shogi in the Yakuza games. I have no clue what I'm doing. Same goes for Mahjong. So, kudos, I guess, to Naruhodo for having the least clue about it. Like, it breaks my brain. I'd love to challenge Lord Van Zykes sometime. To a bout of shogi problems. Oh, to a bout of shogi problems. If you only really want to challenge yourself, you can always do that on your own at home. Sacred chalices. Look at that fine collection of hollowed chalices and bottles neatly lined up there. My hollowed bottles are filled with the essence of the finest grapes from the finest vineyards I visit. And I personally oversee these chalices being made by the finest crystal craftsmen in the world. And yet you throw them around in court like they were worthless. Yes, because this imbecile is so unimaginably and repeatedly wide of the mark sometimes. Oh. Before you open your mouth next time, you should consider the poor artisans whose work you defile. So, it's my fault? Silly me, how could I ever have thought otherwise? Oh, it's a chess set. That's Yeah. Why are there bats in here? Ah, they were bats! Yes, the Reaper's familiars, I expect. What about the mute man in the dark cloak? I thought he was the familiar. Just not the flying kind. He must be a dear friend of Mr. Reaper, then. I think the familiar idea is more likely. Scary, though. Either way.
No, those are my bats, the children of the night. What music they make. Please, leave some of the happiness that you bring.
Look at all these ancient casks lining the wall there. Casks in the Reaper's chamber. Or are they caskets?
You don't think? Yes, this is true. He could tell.
All those people who escaped conviction in court are lying inside them. You're dead, are you?
What ridiculous notions are going through your head, man? This is my collection of fine vintages.
Yes, of course. Thank you for clearing that up. Bruno and I were just musing to ourselves. Don't mind us, Mr. Reaper.
I wouldn't. If you hadn't invited yourselves to my office to talk nonsense within my earshot.
Let's look at this guy. It really looks like a punishment to me. I've never seen someone sitting like that before. He hasn't moved a muscle since we arrived. Do you think perhaps he's dead? If he was dead, Bruno, he wouldn't be sitting up, would he? Well, anyway, dead or alive, he's not overly approachable, is he? I don't think he's gonna talk to us. He's not dead. Alright. Well, Lord Van Zykes, it's been a pleasure, but we have to leave. See ya. Alright. Prison, I guess? 22nd October, local prison, cell 11. The warden said cell 11. What's this one? Oh, there's someone curled up in a ball in the back corner. Look. What's his name again? Professor Albert Hairbrain, wasn't it? Excuse me, Professor Hairbrain. Oh. Who are you? I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a defense lawyer. A lawyer? Was it something I said? A lawyer, you say? What would you be here? About the experiment? Are you going to defend my hypotheses? Your hypothesis? Sorry, I don't... Yesterday's demonstration! That magnificent demonstration was... It was an out-and-out success by anyone's calculations. But despite that, no one listens. No lawyer believes in the science. When it's explained, they all leave at high velocity. Now is probably not a good time to mention that your zeal made my concentration leave for a while there, too. Oh, here, look at my armband. Ah, fascinating, yes! In Japan, where I come from, it's the symbol of a defense lawyer. Wearing it is very bracing, I find. Ah, your words make some sense to me, but they are entirely illogical. What do you mean? Well, for example, I find this white laboratory coat that I wear for my work very bracing, too. However, in my case, there's a perfectly logical reason for that feeling. Really? What is it? I purchased the wrong size by mistake. This one is too small for me. The sleeves, especially, are extremely bracing. I can barely move my wrists. That's what you call logical, is it? Of course! It's entirely logical. That's science, Mr. Naruhodo! You wanna look at the newspaper? How could this have happened? You must feel awful. As well as the man losing his life, the Crystal Tower was greatly damaged too. I know what happened. It must have been that. That? The day before the demonstration, I had my usual meal of frankfurters at the hotel restaurant. When I paid the bill, they gave me 3 shillings too much in change. But instead of saying anything, I just slipped the coins into my pocket. They're still there now. It's divine retribution for my wrongdoing. That's what this is. For a scientist, yes, a very illogical anecdote. Long and illogical. Alright. You mentioned a demonstration yesterday. The papers have called it a spectacular failure. After all, a man died in the explosion, didn't he? Ah! Yes, you could interpret the results that way if you really wanted to. Well, I suppose, in the strictest sense, the experiment was a failure. But at the same time, it was a great success. You've lost me. I saw it with my own eyes, right there in front of me. Mr. Assman was spontaneously disassembled. Until then, everything was going exactly as my calculations had predicted. At that point, he does kind of look like Rick Sanchez, doesn't he? Oh, Morty, we gotta teleport ourselves into the Crystal Tower. At that point, he should have beamed to the Crystal Tower by instantaneous kinesis. However, the machine exploded and Mr. Assman in fact perished? Yes, I can't deny that part of the experiment was a failure. So what you're really saying is the large explosion that killed Mr. Assman was an accident, correct? Bigwigs that had you arrested on suspicion of murder. I was responsible for a man's death. That is the immutable truth here. And for that, I wish to be punished. At once. But... a murder? Never in a million years. It was an accident. Simply an accident. I see. Harry and I were talking this morning, you know. He said the situation would change completely depending on whether it was treated as an accident or murder. How exactly? Well, if it really was an accident, then the professor's machine would be kept in protective custody. On what grounds? Ah, yes, it's newly established here in Britain. The Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. One passed me by. But if the case is treated as murder, then they'll say my machine was the murder weapon, and they'll be able to pour over it as much as they like. If they examine it in detail, they'll find out how it's made, and then they'll be able to copy my idea. My precious hypothesis will be stolen. The machine must be protected from that at all costs. That's why it's imperative this whole incident is shown to be an accident at tomorrow's trial. Ah, I see now. Alright, let's talk about instantaneous kinesis. So in short, there was a terrible accident at the Great Exhibition Showground yesterday. Yes! Or rather, no. The devil is in the details. Strictly speaking, there was a terrible explosion. Sounds the same to me. You were demonstrating super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, weren't you? How fascinating. Humans, like all matter, are made up of particles that are held together by electrical bonds. So it must be possible, using sufficiently high voltage, to break those bonds, and beam the particles through space. You'd become something of a particle man. And there's a triangle man somewhere who hates the particle man. That's it in a nutshell. That's my idea, you see? That's my amazing hypothesis. Gosh, that's unimaginably high-level science. Oh, but dare to imagine it? Dare to dream of such incredible technology? Just think. One moment I could be here in this cell, and the next I could be at the Great Exhibition again. Well, yes, that would be incredible. And the next, in the mere blink of an eye, I could be at a great Parisian theater, say. The possibilities are endless. The whole of our vast planet will be within reach. There's no more hiding in wardrobes and marquee seats for 50 days. I don't really see it like that. What do you mean, Iris? Well, if you could travel anywhere in the world instantly, the planet wouldn't really seem vast anymore, would it? It would feel like it had shrunk. My word, that's exactly right. What are the implications? What does this mean? Oops, that's got Professor Bunnybrain really worried by the look of it. Clearly this is yet another case of just because you can doesn't mean you should, I suppose. Hey, did I hear Jeff Goldblum? The point is, my calculations are flawless. The science works. But without practical demonstration, it means nothing. And that's always the fly in the ointment. Because practical demonstrations cost a lot of money. Money that young scientists like you don't have. That's exactly it, yes. Pelly's always complaining about it. He says the government should invest more in science. Well, anyway, I bumped into him at the right time. I met the well-known investor, Mr. Asselman. The victim who died in yesterday's terrible accident, you mean? Oh, you met him? Interesting. Let's talk about the victim. We can talk about Van Zykes in a minute. The full name of the man who died in yesterday's accident was Mr. Odie Asselman, wasn't it? What exactly was your relationship with this man? He first visited me in my laboratory in Germany a year ago now. He said he wanted to invest in my immaculate hypothesis. I thanked my lucky stars. I see, so you hadn't really known each other until then? Money for scientific research. I'm so envious. As far as I was concerned, the man was an angel. Oh, really? An archangel, even. He was prepared to fund a practical demonstration of my hypothesis for presentation at the Great Exhibition. And if that went well, I could expect additional financial support for my research from the British government. Mr. Asman provided me with money and an exceptional engineer. He produced the machine to my precise specifications. But then your dreams were blown to dust in one enormous explosion. As you can see, I owed everything to Mr. Aspen. I would never, ever have thought of taking the man's life. Well, he seems genuine enough. I don't think he's lying. He's gonna turn into Dr. Manhattan. Oh gosh, yes. That's scary. I understand that Lord Van Zykes is a friend of yours from your university days? Yes, that's right. He was studying law whilst I was studying science. What was he like back then? Good question. Unassuming, gentlemanly, an all-round nice fellow, really. Sorry, I think you misheard me. I'm talking about the cold-hearted, merciless prosecutor Barrack Van Zykes. What was he like when he was at university?
I heard that, my Nipponese friend. Why would you say such hurtful things?
Talk about a leading question, Renault. As I said, an unassuming and extremely pleasant gentleman. After all, he is the little darling of the Van Zykes family, with all its great aristocratic origins. I didn't realize he had quite such noble blood. Well, his name is Lord Van Zykes.
Little darling? Please do not refer to me as little darling.
It was a bit of a shock when I came back to Britain and learned what he'd become. The Reaper of the Bailey, no less. Yes, that's right. I did hear, though, that there was a very big event in his life that completely changed him after graduation. Really? What sort of event? I'm sorry, but I don't know anymore. I wasn't in the country at the time. I was in Germany already. Oh, yes, of course. If he's heard all about the Reaper, I really don't have the heart to tell him that Lord Van Zykes will be the prosecutor in court tomorrow. Yeah, that's gonna be rough. So, Professor, let me just make absolutely sure I've understood you properly. The huge explosion that occurred yesterday, that was an accident, you're saying. You had no intent to harm the victim, who was in fact the sole investor in your work. Is that correct? It was correct as 2 squared is 4. I swear it. Yes, it's true that the man perished in the machine of my invention. So I know that I'm far from blameless in all this, but still, I would never use my discoveries, my inventions, to take a person's life. Not in a centillion years. I'm a man of science. That's all I know. You have to believe me, please. Do you believe me? Do you believe in my hypothesis? Science is the pursuit of truth, you know. I've always believed that. All my life. I'm afraid I don't know much about science. Or your theories. But I do believe in you. And I will fight to prove your innocence with all my might. I'm a man of the law. That's all I know. You have to believe me, please. I went to live in Germany after I graduated. I learned something very important. Nationality, class, lineage, none of that matters. As long as you try your hardest, you can achieve anything. Thank you for that, Professor. And thank you in advance for defending me tomorrow in court. Alright, Bruno. It's time. Time to visit the Great Exhibition. Sorry? Well, that's where the incident happened, isn't it? Yes, I suppose that's true. Time to investigate it last. Alright. The experimentation stage. Alright. 22nd October, the Great Exhibition Grounds, foot of the Crystal Tower. Is our man Gregson going to be here? I will be right back, and then we will... Alright, I'm back. Am I, square feet of land somewhere near... Oh yeah, I've seen those. I'm not sure if that ended up being a legit thing or not. But I've definitely seen that advertised quite a bit. Alright. The showgrounds are a little too big for my liking. We've been walking around in dense crowds for 2 hours now, and I felt myself swooning 3 times. There were a lot of people, aren't there? I've almost been trodden on 3 times, too. Be careful, won't you, Iris? Don't let go of my hand. We finally made it through the throngs, though, by the look of it. Here we go. Or here we are underneath the public experimentation stage, where the explosion happened yesterday. Oh, wow. What's that? I can hear voices from up on the stage. Sounds like an argument. I see Bobby's.
Right, I've had it with you this time. I'm warning you. I'll arrest you in a minute.
Oh yeah? Go on then, Inspector. Give it a shot. You ain't got no evidence and you know it. Wait, I know those voices.
You cheeky little mouth on you, young lady. But a night in the cells will teach you some manners.
Just you try it, I dare you. If you want that bag of chips rammed down your throat. Yoo-hoo! Gregsy! What are you doing up there? He's gonna come running down? Yeah.
It's you. Here. You're here. Here you are. You're here. Your ladyship. How are you, your ladyship? I do hope you're doing well, your ladyship.
Does that make her 3 times a lady? Once, twice, 3 times an anime inventor girl. I'm not well at all. It's far too busy everywhere. I wanted to ride in a balloon, but there was a 3-hour queue.
Unbelievable. I have a word for you at once, your ladyship.
I'll be flying as high as a kite in no time once I pull some strings for you. Tobias Gregson, an inspector at Scotland Yard. Until recently, he was suspended from duty, but it appears he's back in action now. Yes. Need I remind you, suspended for giving information to the culprit in the middle of a trial. He's actually quite well known, appearing as he does in the adventures of Sherlock Holmes. And for that reason, he can't say a word wrong to the story's author, Iris. But there are limits, surely. Or there should be.
What's your sunshine?
Sorry.
What gives that? Don't tell me you're on this case.
Yes, I'm acting for the defense.
So we're here to investigate. Do me, that's the situation, is it?
Is it really that troubling?
Measly fireball, is that all you got?
You're a lawyer, ain't you? You can stand to carry a bit more copper around in your pockets, Mr. Noah Ardell. What? Hey, that's my last bit of spending money, that is. You can have it back, but I'll have to charge you for all the bother. 3 bob. This is Gina Lestrade, a pickpocket or diver, born and bred in the East End of London. In the case that led to my own suspension 6 months ago, this is the young girl I was defending in court. What's your problem, Ayado? Diver? Pickpocket? What's with all the name calling? With a bag of chips round in your throat and all, do you? I thought you were proud to be a diver, Gina. You were just arguing with Inspector Gregson about it, weren't you? I assumed you'd been up to your usual tricks here at the showground. That ain't no way to talk to a lady, I don't. Half a year's a long time. People can change. I'm an apprentice now, learning to be a Scotland Yard detective. So you have to call me what everyone else does. It's Inspector Lestrade now. Oh, yeah. We have the title, Inspector Lestrade. That's the character from Sherlock Holmes. You get it? Yeah. Inspector? The badge is homemade, surely. The inspector part isn't entirely accurate. No one calls it that. What it's worth anyway. Investigating is off the cards for all of us. What's that supposed to mean?
Right, well, I'll be back up top. You hold the fort down here, alright?
Right, sir.
Oh. Right, sir.
This
raises a lot of questions. This armband is proof, in Japan at least, that I'm a defense lawyer. And this badge is proof that I'm a detective. So you're gonna have to start calling me Inspector Lestrade. In that case, you'll have to start calling me, well, anything but Otto. I could call you Defender now, Otto, if you like. But I'm really too good with this phone. No, it doesn't have a great ring to it, does it? What about the newspaper? Gina, would you take a look at... Oh, where did it go? Hey, looking for this, Otto? Why did you do that? What if you got anything else to show me, eh? What do you reckon? Give that back first, please. Let's talk about you. It was 8 months ago now that I first encountered Gina in connection with the case I was working on. At the time, she was living in the East End with a group of other orphans. She helped all of them survive by pickpocketing, but then she got embroiled in a murder. Well, it's hard to think in prison. I realized I couldn't get on like I was. The diving weren't working out.
Oh, I'm so pleased to hear it, Jenny. Well done.
So, you went from being a pickpocket to a detective? You got it. Good, innit? Inspector Lestrade. Sounds like something out of a book, eh? Talk about a sea change. And then there's Iris's old man to think about. Iris's father, you mean? Yeah, I promised I didn't know. I said I'd get all the police forces around the world to pull out all the stops looking for me. Just a small promise then, nothing serious.
Jenny, you're so sweet.
So anyway, I had the test for Scotland Yard. Only trouble is, I don't read so well, do I? Just a small problem, nothing serious.
And that's when Hurley approached Gregsy and asked for help. So the inspector said he'd take full responsibility for Jenny and made her a sort of apprentice.
It was very magnanimous of Inspector Gregson and brave.
Well, you know Hurley. He enjoys finding ways to make people do what he wants.
The great detective likes digging for dirt, in other words. So, the long and the short of it is, if you've got questions about the case, you can ask Inspector Lestrade. Right then, Inspector. Actually, there's still a bit of mystery surrounding Gina, isn't there?
Oh, what, Bruno, what?
Well, 6 months ago, Gina was the defendant in a trial prosecuted by the Reaper. A trial in which she was found not guilty, and yet here she is still. Come on, you're not still on about that, are you? The Legend of the Reaper, or whatever it's called? Cold, you don't have to worry, y'all now. If I didn't have to worry, there probably wouldn't be a whole lot of you left. It's like I told you before, ain't it? The Reaper's going to lock him upstairs, so he knows what I'm like on the inside. I ain't really done nothing wrong. Nothing wrong might be stretching a point.
What about Mr. Natsume in Japan? He's perfectly fine, isn't he?
That's true. Perhaps the Reaper is more discerning than I thought. Exactly. So I ain't worried. I'm totally fine. Good job. Let's talk about the incident.
Oh, it was how you swelled, it was.
The briny blood pulled a bunch of levers on his machine and suddenly started billowing smoke. And I just went pop. I ain't seen a better experiment here yet. Sorry?
You mean you saw it, Jenny? With your own eyes?
Yeah, of course. The boss is in charge here, ain't he? Of keeping everything running smooth, I might. The boss being Inspector Gregson, I suppose. That's gonna take some getting used to. So all I have to say is that I'm on duty. I can do whatever I want to.
Get this, I was up in one of them flying balloons when it happened, watching it from above. No, you're so lucky, Jenny. Maybe I should join Scotland Yard too.
Yeah, do it. You know how to put the boss in his place already, right, Iris? You'd have no trouble at all.
Then it's settled. When do I start?
No. You can't join Scotland Yard, Iris. We'll see. Anyway, what I don't understand is this. If the machine exploded so spectacularly, how can Professor Bunnybrain simply claiming that his experiment was a success?
Oh, right. Well,
was a success in a way. It was? How could it have been? Surely, after the whole machine blew up, no one could call the experiment a success. That's not what I said. It is sort of work. I mean, yeah, there was a load of smoke and that whopping great bang. But where do you think they found the victim's body, eh? In the Crystal Tower over there. What? In the tower? You can see it for yourself, can't you? Up there above the scaffold. Oh, where all the glass is broken, you mean? Yeah, the cage what the victim got into to start with. They did get the beam through the air or whatever, and then it all the way over there. So, you see, it did kind of work, didn't it? What? I don't believe it. I mean, I don't get the ins and outs of it, but anything's supposed to go right with science. Oh, I'll tell you what, you can have this. It's a plan of the experiment that drew up at the yard. Are you sure? Yeah, go on. I had 3 bob off you before, so fair's fair. Yes, I didn't actually give that to you, did I? The sketch of the experiment has been entered in the court record. Something Inspector Gregson said before seemed a little strange. For what it's worth, anyway, investigating is off the cards for all of us. Yes, naughty old Grexy ran off after that without explaining himself. Oh, right, Matt. The boss said no one's allowed to investigate that weird machine that blew up yesterday. Well, that's not fair. We're representing the defendant. In that case, could you at least tell us what you've learned from your investigations? Nah, you're not getting it. We ain't allowed to investigate neither. Why? What did the boss call them again? The Forensic Investigation Team, I think? Anyway, apart from them lot, no one's allowed to lay a finger on the scene. A bit funny, isn't it? So you think Scotland Yard's own detectives can investigate? Yes, I've never heard something like that before. Although I got Avaganda in the quiet, though. The ghost boss caught me at it. You probably heard him give me an earful about it before from down here, didn't you? It's not bleeding fair. I think you were giving him as much of an earful back as I remember it. Yeah, well, sometimes I think it's all them chips what make him so stubborn. You say something to him, Aldo. Go on, see if you can get through to him. He's up on the platform above us, is he? Where the machine that exploded is? We can try, can't we, Runa? Grexy will listen to us. Alright. Let's see. Alright, so this is the machine, huh? That's interesting. Nothing too crazy, yeah. So we've conversed with Gina completely. So let's go... Actually, is there anything to look at here? Probably not. Oh wait, what's this? What is that? Ah, it looks as though somebody dropped something behind the tree just here. Dropped or hid? What is this? Some part of the machine that exploded? Maybe. It could have fallen from the platform above in the past, perhaps. What's going on here? Oh, nothing? I think I'll hang on to this just in case. The mysterious contraption was entered in the court record. Nice. Good thing I looked. Let's go look over here. The Crystal Tower. It's certainly an apt name. It was built to be the focal point of the exhibition. It definitely is, being so tall and with all that glass. I can't imagine a building like this ever being erected in Japan. There are lots of exhibitions inside the tower as well, apparently. Of course, there's an observation deck. There's also an art gallery, a zoo, and a museum. But I heard you have to queue for 3 hours just to get through the doors. Well, at the moment, the shattered glass from the failed experiment may well be the biggest draw. Thanks to that accident, the whole tower is shut. Suddenly it's not the Crystal Tower anymore, but the Crystal Glass Ship. Apparently everyone's taking to the skies now to look down on the disaster from above instead. But there's a 3-hour queue to go up in a balloon now. Londoners must be very patient people. Alright, I think that's it. I want to look at this contraption we just found. What is this thing? It looks like a crossbow. It looks like a crossbow. Is there... Aha. Ah, there's some sort of lever here. What's that? What is this? It looks like a cross between a bow and a gun. I think it's probably used for the same thing, too. A crossbow. Oh. It looks like you wind this around in order to draw the bowstring back and create tension. You must be able to fire arrows with a huge amount of force using this device, though. In fact, I would imagine it's far more accurate and powerful than a Japanese longbow. Ugh, I really had no idea what I was picking up when I spotted this at the exhibition grounds. Yeah, that's pretty, sinister, potentially. Oh, what's out in the front? This groove here. Must be where the arrows are loaded, I suppose. So I was right. Sort of a bow with an automatic firing mechanism. This would be perfect for someone like me who catches his ear with the bowstring 2 times out of 3. In fact, if I had one of these, maybe I could have beaten Kazuma in judo archery training. That'd be nice. Alright. Up. This platform must have been set up for the experiment, I suppose. It's very high up. About 30 feet above the ground, apparently. That's what a policeman I just spoke to said. I don't really understand feet very well. We don't use them in Japan. Oh yes, sorry. It's about 9 meters. But soon you'll be up in London in a year, Runa. It's time you got used to our measurements. Yes, well, this thing is so tall, the spectators at the front would just have seen a wall and nothing else. They probably thought they had secured the best spot to watch from, only to be disappointed. There's a saying in Japan, the darkest spot is right under the lighthouse. I feel like it probably applies here. Well, how do I talk to Gregson? Where is he at? Can I go up here? That's where the cove ended up after these instant kinesis, or whatever they call it, dedicals. And yet they're calling the experiment a success? What's the wooden scaffold there for? The coppers, our lads, set up that after the incident happened. To get the body down, I think. Yeah, not really. Can you help to erect the scaffold then? Nah, lookout duty's more my thing. Running around the exhibition and keeping a lookout for the fun stuff. Mind Gregson doesn't hear you saying that, or he'll give you the boot. It's incredible, though, isn't it? I mean, could the victim really have bridged that gap by some sort of invisible kinesis? That's a good question. Okay. Is there anything else we can look at? We got all that. Can we show her this? No. She's just gonna try to steal it. Cool. Wait, what's this? These stairs obviously lead to the stage above. We should go up there and investigate the exact spot where the experiment was being conducted. Okay, that's how we move up. 22nd October, the Great Exhibition Grounds Experimentation Stage. Hello. So that's it, is it? The machine that blew up. Oh, it must have been a magnificent explosion. I've seen my fair share. You've seen things like this before, you mean? Of course. Hoodie's always doing experiments that ended in a bang. In fact, in his own words, explosions are the very essence of chemistry. Ah, that might explain the smell of burning that frequently comes wafting up the stairs. One time, he made something that exploded with such force it took the roof off the building. I wish you'd been there to see it, Bruno. It's hard to get too excited about that, given that I now live in the roof. Well, anyway, that's enough about that. It's time to investigate. Ah, look, Inspector Gregson's over there. He seems to be deep in thought about something, whilst eyeing up the machine carefully. Really? He just looks confused to me. Let's look at the machine. It ripped itself apart magnificently, didn't it? Magnificently and mercilessly. So someone stands in the middle of the machine to be disassembled and then beamed through the air? Yes, beamed. Not blasted. That's the point. Yes, that part's crucial, really. Is it really that even possible, though, Iris? Oh, Bruno, I'm just a child. What's that? A child in a suit you mean? From what I can tell, I think if you would pull this lever here... Stop! Don't touch that! Ah, that was practically instantaneous kinesis the way you flew over just now, Rexy. Please, your ladyship. I didn't mean to startle you, but I can't let you touch anything up here. I'm so sorry. You're gonna have some of my lady's special blend to make up for it. Glug, 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 glug. Ah, wonderful. This stuff really is wonderful. It's just like old times, it says. We're representing Professor Hairbrain in court tomorrow, Inspector. So we should be allowed to examine the scene. Ha! Listen, Sunshine. Even I'm not allowed to touch anything up here. It's that blasted Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act to blame. It's driving me potty. Oh yes, that Special Dispensation. The professor mentioned that too. More red tape's all we need. I don't know what the government thinks is playing at sometimes. But we're allowed to just look, aren't we? Yeah. Surely that's alright, isn't it, Gregsy? Of course, your ladyship. Anything you say, your ladyship. But please don't get your dainty hands dirty, will you? Don't worry. We wouldn't dream of touching anything, would we, Bruno? She really knows how to get what she wants. You got anything to say there, Gregsy? First, let's look around. There's a lot of different pieces and such. Considering how badly damaged everything is, Professor Hairbrain was lucky to escape unscathed, I'd say. We should have a good look around the machine if we can. Touch anything and I'll make sure I kill you before I get strung up myself, you hear? I won't touch a thing, I promise. So please, spare a thought for your digestion. Anyway, do you really think this machine could actually disassemble people like the professor claims? He asks, looking totally incredulous. Give it a rest, Sunshine. If we were allowed to examine all the bleeding scrap metal, maybe we could answer that question. But we can't, can we? Because of the annoying rules, you mean? Exactly! The annoying, obstructive, flaming rules! Oh, look at the base of the machine there. Oh yes, there's a tool of some kind poking through the wire mesh. It's a screwdriver, I think? Oh, isn't it a lovely one? The handle is in the shape of a capital letter A. It is? Oh yes, you're right. What's the matter with you? Don't touch anything, I said. Don't touch anything, and I'll make sure I kill you before I get strung up myself, I said. Yes, I understand, sorry. I only touched it a teeny weeny bit. Gregsy, I'm very curious about the screwdriver. Really, very, very curious. Of course, your ladyship, you're so clever. Your ladyship fancy spotting something like this. But I'm afraid I can't let you have it. But Bruno found it first. I assure you, I'll investigate it thoroughly. He's gone off with it. That was very mean. I'm afraid Inspector Gregson is going to make a very clumsy and embarrassing mistake in next month's installment now. Poor Gregsy. I love it. She has salary review powers over him. What is that gigantic thing over there? It looks like an enormous water wheel. Oh, that's a Ferris wheel. There'll be people rotting inside those little cabins, you can see. Why? Well, they rotate nice and slowly, so it's a wonderful way to see the surrounding scenery. Wait, it's turning? But it looks completely still. Yes, that's because it's turning so slowly. One complete revolution takes about half an hour. If you were mad enough to go on one, it would be more fun to whiz around fast, don't you think? I feel as though you might just have invented a new sort of ride there, Bruno. There are all sorts of strange buildings here in the Great Exhibition Grounds, aren't there? I seem to remember something similar being exhibited in Japan one time. Oh, in your country, Bruno? I do wish I could go and see it. I present a particularly steely samurai with a present of one of Hurley's stories I've written especially. Let's see if I can get Hurley to do a jam against some Bartitsu Master Ninja. So, we have just made a joke about the Steel Samurai and the Jamming Ninja, both from the Phoenix Wright series. Very nicely done. You might not find as many of those sorts of people around as you think. Oh, well, that's dull. Oh, but I do know a prosecutor with a Chonmage top knot I could introduce you to. A Chonmage, really? I think I could have my picture taken with him. Do you? Assuming he's recovered from the trim Kazuma gave him a year ago, yes. As a matter of fact, I haven't. Look at this thing. That amazing horn-shaped device is pointing towards the Crystal Tower. I suppose once people are disassembled by the machine, they're shot out of that thing to wherever they're going. I don't think it was supposed to shoot anything, you know? It was set up to beam people to the Crystal Tower, where they'd be reconstructed in their original form. I don't like the look of it. It was amazing as it looks. The accident wouldn't have happened in the first place, of course. I suppose that's true, yes. But nothing ever goes according to plan, does it? Using high-voltage electricity to somehow disassemble a man's body. And then beam him across the Crystal Tower. It's an extraordinary thing to attempt, especially in public. True, it was by far the most unusual of the experiments planned for the exhibition, what? To be honest, I'm a bit surprised it was allowed. Carrying out something so dangerous with so many spectators present, I mean. The government's doing everything it can to promote new science and technology at the moment. They're more worried about being ahead of the game than in old sport of public safety infringements. If they can be the first to develop some new technology, it makes Britain more powerful in the future, you see. Yes, I suppose that's true, in a way. So the powers that be are placing a heavy emphasis on scientists' rights at the moment. What sort of rights? They're making it so that any theories the brains have remain their legal property, as it were. They're developing it, no practical idea, and even going into production. Which is the infuriating reason us couples aren't allowed to touch this crime scene. Because the new Highfalutin Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act forbids it. Oh, I see now. The only people with permission to investigate here are some brand new department at the Yard. The Forensic Investigation Team is called. We've been relegated to keeping guard. The Forensic Investigation Team. Any old fool can say this heap of scrap metal was a sham to begin with. Just because it says scientific equipment on the paperwork, we can't do a flaming thing with it. Poor Gregsy. He's very het up, isn't he? Remind me again, what's this new legal act that means we're not allowed to touch the scene here? Oh, you haven't met me, Sunshine. It's a Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. Yes, I think Hurley mentioned that recently. With a real twinkle in his eyes, I remember. Oh, I'm sure he did, your ladyship. I'm sure he did. Passed especially for this great exhibition it was. All authorities have to do is present their ideas or intentions to some suits in the civil service. If it gets overstepped, it's a guarantee of rights to maintain the invention's confidentiality. What does that really mean? Think about it. Think of all the well-changed new inventions on display every day at this exhibition. Although a good half of them are a load of couplers, if you ask me. Put forward by shammers like yourself. Thanks for that. Oh, I love how absurd some of the inventions here are. It's all so fun. It might be fun to you, but a member of the force has to be present at every single demonstration. Can you imagine, eh? Ain't science, that's what I say. Oh, I don't think so. Sounds like a dream job. You'd certainly think otherwise if I spent a day guarding all these shammers, bogus contraptions. But if they're all bogus, how can anyone hope to demonstrate them? There'd be no point. Yeah, well, there is a point, sadly. Sorry? Thanks to another of our government's bright ideas. If any theory or invention is deemed to show potential, the government hands out a research grant. The scientists get funding? Exactly. That's what they're all after. All these shammers coming from far and wide to clog up Hyde Park. And who has to keep them all safe, eh? Who has to smile politely and welcome them? Us coppers, that's who. So you can see why I say it now, can't you? Hang science, hang it! Oh, maybe I can see your point. Apparently, Professor Hairbrain lives and works in Germany now, conducting his research. That's right, going back to Britain especially for the Great Exhibition, as I understand it. Probably after one of the government's research grants. Actually, we learned something else about the professor earlier today. About his time in further education. It turns out he was at university with someone we both know. Lord Van Zykes. Yeah? What's that? That's news to me. But if Van Zykes mans the prosecution as the accused, the professor's fate is sealed? Because the Reaper will get him one way or the other? Blimey, everything's beyond me. I don't know what goes on in that head of his. Talking of Van Zykes, this morning's paper ran the story of him being attacked. Read that? Oh yes, but Mr. Reaper is completely fine. Nothing to worry about. Yes, right. Glad to hear it. Still, the Reaper, huh? How long is that business going to keep up, I wonder? The victim of this case, the investor, Mr. Aspen, is another of the Reaper's victims, or so I heard. Well, Barack Van Zykes is a top-class prosecutor, but even he can't always push the right verdict through. Sometimes justice can't win. Yes, I've heard about jurors being bribed and evidence being falsified. And that's how the notion of the Reaper of the Bailey came about, isn't it? Obviously, Scotland Yard suspected Van Zykes initially. They assumed he was taking matters into his own hands if he failed to see the deal in court. Although the man himself denies that charge. Well, we've done a very thorough investigation, and the conclusion we reached is that Lord Van Zykes is in no way related to the deaths of those people outside the courtroom. There's no question in my mind. I'll stake my reputation on it, I would. But if that's true, then how do you explain it? All those defendants couldn't just have coincidentally died if nobody killed them. I know that, but we couldn't explain it. It's a mystery after all, isn't it? That's the whole point of the Reaper. Professor Hairbrain mentioned something else. He said that at university, Lord Van Zykes was a totally different person, easygoing and kind. Hey, what? He said that it was after they both graduated that something happened to change the man. Do you have any idea what it was? No clue. Really? Look, I've got my hands full watching over this frustrating crime scene. Why don't you go and make a nuisance of yourself elsewhere, eh? Huh. You know more than what you're saying, aren't you? Can I show you this crossbow? As a detective, what do you make of this? Personally speaking, 9 times out of 10, I find clues turn out to be red herrings. There's every challenge that's totally irrelevant. It's actually a fairly persuasive argument. Yes, this crossbow is probably totally irrelevant. Let's see my arm there. This is the symbol of a defense lawyer where I come from, Inspector. Well, who doesn't best muster here in London? You might as well chuck it in the deep fat fryer. No one's ever said that to me before. Mr. Sholmes suggested I feed it to a dog, though. You fry it first, you can feed it to me. Does he think it's made of potato? Can you see this? Inspector, have you read this paper? Yeah, it's your unwelcome blast back to back. It's one of the exhibition, and the Reaper getting attacked. I know, a terrible news to wake up to, wasn't it? I tried to pretend I hadn't read it and turned over for another 40 winks. So that, I was laid up and got a roasting from the soup. Some mornings are like that, aren't they? See that? No. So, are we missing anything? We've seen that. Have we looked at everything? Have we seen everything? We can look at the balloons, I guess. So those are people carrying balloons dangling silently in the skies over London. I always thought the day would come when humans would discover how to fly, but I never imagined it would involve them being suspended from colorful, floating, temporary handballs. I'm sure it must feel amazing, being up there among the clouds. Let's take a ride together, Bruno, please. If I'm being perfectly honest, I would like to try it. Without a cast iron guarantee that the thing won't plummet to the ground, I'm too scared. Oh, well, in that case, I should tell you what Hurley said. It's physically impossible for a flying balloon to plummet to the ground, as long as it doesn't explode. Yes, call me crazy, but I think that exploding part might play in my mind a little. That's everything. Around this place. Alright. She wants to look around. Is there anything left to look at? Seeing anything to examine. Yeah, I'm at a loss here. Anything else worth? Let me go back to the prosecutor's office. Nothing here. Didn't mean to do that. Van Zykes? I think he's ignoring you, Bruno. The prosecution and defense should avoid speaking outside of the courtroom as a rule. So if anyone is being rude here, it's most certainly the man in black there standing before us. Oh, I see. Well, thank you for setting the record straight. Did you see that? He spoke to me, Bruno. So, Lord Van Zykes, have you managed to visit the Great Exhibition yet? He's definitely ignoring you. Right, no niceties either then. Alright, so there's really nothing here. Nothing I've been meaning to ask you for a while now, but what are those funny round blobs floating in the sky? Oh, they're the flying balloons I've been talking about. I want to go up in one so much. I've read about situations like this in a magazine about strange phenomena. Creatures from outer space coming in round flying objects to attack Earth? What? I suppose inhabitants of other planets are bound to be interested in the Great Exhibition. This is it, Iris. It's happening. It's not. Don't worry. I'll explain it all to you later over a nice cup of tea, Runo. Oh. Naruhodo. Alright. Stairs. Yeah. Oh, where's this? For some reason, the ground is damaged in this spot. Look, almost as if there was a fire here or something. Yes, if you look closely, there's some scattered ash and burnt embers too. Well, I suppose there was a big explosion just above here. People probably wouldn't bat an eyelid at a small fire like this would have been. I'm not sure we English are quite that laid back, Runo. Oh, look, what's this? A ripped piece of cloth. It's not like any fabric I've seen before. It's very thick and stiff. Looks extremely durable. It's canvas, I think. Some sort of rubber backing. And the edges appear to be a bit charred as well. Maybe that means it had something to do with the explosion. Let's make a note of it while Ginny's mid-yawn. The piece of green cloth has been entered. Aha. Bruno, listen. What is it? I've been thinking. Hurley might know something, mightn't he? About what? About Mr. Reaper. About what happened to Lord Van Zykes, you mean? Because it sounds like something very significant occurred after he graduated from university. Something that completely changed his life. Maybe, but I have no idea where to find Mr. Sholmes at the moment. He's in the middle of some big case, isn't he? Here, this is what you need. What's this? Some kind of entrance ticket? Madame Tussball's? Is this supposed to mean something? You don't know? It's the most popular attraction in London at the moment. It's very close to Baker Street, actually. We can go now if you like. No. We don't have time for visiting attractions today, Harris. We have a big trial tomorrow. But that's where Hurley is. What? At this popular London attraction? Yes. How is it that you know where he is? Hurley told me, but he told me to keep it a secret from you, Runo. Madame Tussball's? I don't see how it could be related to the case we're investigating here, but then... stranger things have happened, and when they happen, Mr. Sholmes is usually at the heart of them. Alright. A new location. Actually, I think this is a good time to call it for the night. Kind of late where I'm at. So we will pick this up again next Saturday night. And we will continue the return of the great departed soul. I will see you then. Bye.